It's always interesting to me what people in Magee are doing. You know, I think some of the most interesting folks live in Magee, Mississippi and in Simpson County. Well, this week, no, really last week, I was talking with Joe's wife, Nona, and she was telling me about an event that's coming up this weekend, which is on March the 29th.
Saturday.
It's on Saturday night, and it is a reunion of the Lincoln County Band. Well, the interesting thing is that Joe Lee is going to be playing in it. And I talked to him earlier today, and it was so interesting, I thought, y'all have got to hear this because it's interesting. I want you to tell me the story.
Well, the story is this. In the late 70s, early 80s, there were three guys, native of Petal, Mississippi, grew up in Petal, went to school there, graduated and all, went off to college, but they came back together and formed a three-man singing group. They were called Lincoln County. You don't know how they got the name. It has nothing to do with Lincoln County.
And see, I thought for sure they were from Lincoln County.
I want to say it has something to do with the Lincoln County Wars that actually may have taken place in Texas or somewhere like that years ago.
But anyway, something weird.
Nothing to do with Brookhaven. But so they came together as a group, and they had a singing group. They performed a lot of local stuff, and then they got to be a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger, and they did some stuff like the Miss USA pageant in Mobile. They started to they would go on before, you know,
Kind of opening act
for some of the more bigger names in the entertainment world. They performed one year in New Orleans at a big festival, an outdoor festival, and I think they said there was around 10,000 people in New Orleans that weekend.
Wow.
Watching. So
they were big time.
They got pretty big, and so they decided that they wrote some songs themselves. So they said, we're going to Nashville. Everybody goes to Nashville. And they went to Nashville and they recorded about 4 songs. Now, while they were in Nashville, some interesting things happened. There was a recording company, a record label, looking for a group that they wanted to sign to a recording contract and have some people write some songs for them, and then, you know, cut the songs, and then they were going to promote them and everything else, you know, that goes along with that. So they did this talent search in Nashville. It just so happens that Lincoln County was in Nashville at the time, and after they did this talent search, it came down to Lincoln County and this one other group as to who they were going to sign for this recording, this record label.
How exciting.
So, sad to say, Lincoln County didn't get the recording contract.
But who did?
Well, the group that got it was a little group called Alabama.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
We all know.
That's like, and the rest of the story.
That's right. So our guys, Lincoln County, our guys, they tucked tail and they headed on back to Petal, Mississippi. They started having children, babies, and they got on with family life and raising their families and getting into their careers. And it sort of all ended right there. Well, the interesting thing that happened last summer, there was a picture that was taken at this gig they did in New Orleans.
That festival.
The festival. It was a shot from the back of them up on this stage, and you can see all these crowds of people out there. So one of the guys on Facebook posted this picture of them 35 years ago. Well, within about 30 minutes or an hour, they had about 100 hits on this Facebook account saying, why don't y'all get together again and do a concert? Well, one thing led to another, and the way that I got in on the deal is that one of the singers, David Thompson, from Petal, he and I were college roommates. Now the 3 singers are Vaughn Wilson, who had a photography studio for many, many years in Hattiesburg, Petal area. David Smith, who at the age of about 13 started playing he was the lead singer in a lot of bands in the Hattiesburg area.
Really?
One being Sweet Fever, which was a pretty popular band by the time we were at USM.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that band.
And then David Thompson, my roommate, he got in on the deal, and he was a pretty good musician as well, pretty good singer. But anyway, the way I got in on the deal, David called me, I'm going to say the end of last summer. He said, Joe, look, we put this picture on Facebook and said all these people have hit this thing and they're wanting us to put a reunion concert back together. And I think we're going to do this thing. But I said, okay, it sounds good. I said, I'd love to come.
You thought you were getting an invitation to come see it.
He said, well, here's the thing. He said, we got to put a band together. He said, I want you to come play guitar for us in this gig. And I said, he said, it's going to take some time and effort. But said, I want you, said, you know all these people. You know a lot of people who's wanting to come to the concert. And I want you to come do this with me. And I said, well, it didn't take me long because of my love of music. I said, okay. I said, now look, I probably haven't played my guitar in 4 or 5 years. He said, well, limber up your fingers and get your guitar out. And so I did, and I started practicing a little bit at home. And around September of last year, we started practicing in pedal. One night a week, and we tried to keep that up. And we originally were going to try to do the concert in like November. Well, when we got into the practice sessions, there just
not going to happen.
There just wasn't any way that was going to happen. So anyway, we delayed it until March, to this Saturday night, and we put this band together. We've got a lead guitarist, a rhythm guitarist, we've got a keyboard player, a bass player, and a drummer. Our lead guitarist is Woody Woods. He's from the Hattiesburg area. He is an original member of Lincoln County. We got Ricky Bullock from Hattiesburg, plays drums. He's an original member. A little story about Ricky Bullock. He and I played music together in the middle 70s when I played in a band around the MageeNews area. We played some rock and roll music. And Ricky was our drummer then, but I show up for practice and there's Ricky Bullock. I hadn't seen him in 30 years. So Ricky Bullock's a drummer. I'm playing rhythm guitar in the band, and acoustic guitar. We got a keyboard player, Al Heron. He's from the pedal area, really good musician. And then we lacked a bass player, so these guys kept telling me down there, oh, we've got some bass players down here that play. Well, we never could get figured out who was going to do it, and we'd go to practice and nobody would show up. So I was a newcomer, and I kept my mouth shut, but I said, listen, I've got a guy in Magee, Mississippi that can play bass. I said, he's a really good musician. He plays at our church. He's a really good singer. He's been in a lot of singing groups. And I was talking about Keith Maddox.
And he is quite musically
so I came
talented.
home and I did a little sales job on Keith.
Probably didn't take a lot.
It did. It really did, because Keith loves music. And so Keith and I have been traveling down to Pella once a week at night to practice since September and October. But anyway, it's going to be a really good concert. Now, as I told you earlier, they're not going to sing like they did 35 years ago. And we're probably not going to play like we played 35 years ago. But it's still going to be good. It's going to be entertaining.
It'll probably be better. You know?
I don't know. We put a lot of time and effort into it. We're going to do, the Eagles are really hot right now.
I love
Eagles. I
Eagles.
went to see them in Memphis.
That was a fabulous concert.
Yeah, great. We're going to do some Eagles songs. We're going to do some Gatlin Brothers songs. We're going to do, who else? We're even going to do a Beatles song. So we'll bring back the Beatles a little bit. And going to do a song off the Broadway musical Paint Your Wagon called They Call the Wind Mariah. So it's going to be just a good evening. Going to be a variety of songs. I think we've sold a lot of tickets. We need some people to show up. I think there's going to be a lot of people from Magee there as well that night.
I think this is something you would enjoy because I know it's something I intend to enjoy. There'll be information on MageeNews.com as to where you can get your tickets. And Joe did tell me earlier that it is in Petal, and you just take the Evelyn Gandy Parkway, and it's the Petal Performing Arts Center, which is near the high school. Correct.
Right on Evelyn Gandy at the high school.
And that's
Can't
at
miss it.
7 o'clock. Is that right?
7 o'clock Saturday night, March 29th, this Saturday night.
Okay, we're going to look for you there because I think you'll enjoy seeing Joe back in the house. Have a good day, and we'll be looking for you.